We are live.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Culpeper virtual spring meeting. Thank you for attending. We will have a brief series of comments followed by the ability to call in and provide comments on projects and issues related to the fiscal year 2022 through 2027 six-year improvement program. Next slide. I will turn it over now to Commissioner Steve Britt.
So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today. With regret, the Secretary Shannon Ballantyne sends her regrets for missing the opening session of today's spring virtual public hearing on the six-year improvement program. She is in transit with the governor to an infrastructure summit in Maryland. She will be on as soon as possible. We're expecting by about 4:30, so she certainly sends her regrets with that. Can I have the next slide, please? So I'll give a quick overview of the program as a whole that Secretary Ballantyne would have given had she been here. Just a quick update is that the overall draft six-year improvement program for FY 22 through 2027 is valued at approximately $21.4 billion. That is made up of $15.7 billion to the Virginia Department of Transportation and $5.7 billion over this time period through the Department of Rail and Public Works. The program as a whole has 3,900 projects over this six-year period. And moving forward into Smart Scale Round 4 that you will see, we had a total of $6.25 billion of requests for the 397 projects that have been scored for this round. That $625 billion in requests is mounted towards the available smart scale funds that are available for allocation of projects is only $1.37 billion. So as we can see that, again, the needs far outweigh the available source of funds that are available. We'll be speaking more to that here momentarily, but joined with me tonight, not only myself, but I'm joined with Jennifer Mitchell, who's the Director of the Department of Rail and Public Transportation. Members of our Commonwealth Transportation Board, Allison DeTunk, who is the Culpeper District Representative, and Mr. Greg Yates, who serves on the Commonwealth Transportation Board as an at-large rural member. Michelle Shropshire will also be speaking to you this evening, who is in an acting district engineer position for us, and we welcome Michelle and her comments later today. Next slide. So I have some just overall arching comments to be able to provide. First and foremost, I'd like to start off my topics with regard to safety and providing a safety overview. As we know, April has traditionally been Highway Safety Month in Virginia, and we are joined by several of our members or our sister partner agencies, who is the Virginia State Police, the Department of Motor Vehicles, the Department of Health, and the Department of Education, who all are assisting us in observing Highway Work Zone Safety Awareness Week or month. Next week in particular, April 26th through the 30th, we have National Work Zone Awareness Week, which is a culmination of efforts through all 50 states through the nation that focus on ensuring highway safety or work zone safety is met. So this year's theme is Drive Safe, Work Safe, and Save Lives. And the theme emphasizes the part that everyone needs to play in keeping our workers and motorists safe in our highway work zones. Next Wednesday, I will invite you to join us and our staff in Go Orange Day, where we wear orange in support of those who work on our roads each and every day. I'd like to touch base a little bit on COVID-19 and our resiliency to continue working in this challenging time of ours. As we all know, COVID-19 in 2020 has been a challenge for all of us. The pandemic has certainly required an unprecedented amount of flexibility and ability and adaptability for the department to overcome. Protecting our employees was job number one. We wanted to make sure that that the safety of our workforce was the first initiative of ours. We've had to adapt to a new operating environment, and this included for our construction and maintenance crews who have showed up each and every day during the pandemic to be able to ensure that the roads have been open and safe for travel. And then the second part of that is, as we work through our office staff and our design staff, ensuring that our staff continue to be productive while teleworking. I'm happy to say that we've been able to continue to deliver our services unencumbered. We've been able to hold our virtual hearings, public hearings such as this, and engage in public and stakeholder input, even though with the limitations that the pandemic has forced upon us. In addition, I'm happy to say that we've continued to advertise our projects, award projects, and hire our consultants. We've been able to keep our projects moving on time and on budget throughout this pandemic without missing a beat. So let me talk to you a little bit about the 6-year plan as it relates to the Virginia Department of Transportation. As I had indicated earlier, the fiscal year 2022 through 2027 highway construction program is valued at $15.7 billion. The program provides for more than 3,900 projects and includes a total amount of $4.1 billion in funding that is provided by others. That includes Northern Virginia Transportation Alliance, the Hampton Roads Transportation Accountability Commission, Central Virginia Transportation Authority, and our P3 consortium concessionaires. This program fully implements the new transportation funding formula that has been approved by the governor and the General Assembly in 2020. There are several programs that have been updated in this 6-year plan, and that is those programs include the State of Good Repair for paving, the State of Good Repair for bridges, unpaved roads, our Innovation in Transportation Technology Fund, and Smart Scale. In addition to those program areas, our regional planners and partners have updated their regional surface transportation and the congestion mitigation and air quality programs. Through the new funding that was allocated by the governor and the General Assembly, we're also including 2 new program areas. That being the Interstate Operations and Enhancement Program and the Virginia Highway Safety Improvement Program. Those proposed, so what you have also down at the bottom of the screen, which I encourage you to take a look at, is the website that identifies those new projects that are in the program, as well as additional ones, the Smart Scale projects that have been initially scored. So with that being said, I'll now turn it over to Director Mitchell to give an overview of the Department of Rail and Public Transportation's program.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. A little bit about our 6-year plan at the Department of Rail and Public Transportation. In the coming fiscal year 22, we're going to be allocating over $1 billion in federal and state funds for rail and public transportation across the Commonwealth. That includes $756 million for public transportation and $266 million for rail. Within that rail, that includes $88 million for our Transforming Rail in Virginia program, $83.5 million for expansion of passenger rail to the New River Valley, and another 83.5%, or 83.5 million for improvement of commuter rail service on VRE's Manassas line. Our Transforming Rail in Virginia program is our major initiative, and which we're partnering with Amtrak, VRE, and CSX. We'll be acquiring 384 miles of CSX right-of-way and 223 miles of track. These corridors parallel I-95, I-64, and I-85. It's approximately half of the CSX-owned railroad between Washington, D.C. and Petersburg, Virginia. All of the CSX-owned right-of-way between Petersburg, Virginia, and Ridgeway, North Carolina, which is known as the S-Line. Nearly all of the CSX-owned right-of-way between Doswell, Virginia, and Clifton Ford, Virginia, known as the Buckingham Branch. And then tracks within that right-of-way that is purchased by us also becomes our property. So over the next 10 years, we have an infrastructure investment program, which includes building a new 2-track bridge across the Potomac River, known as the Long Bridge. We'll also be building 37 miles of track between Washington and Richmond in order to expand service. And with this, we'll be doubling our state-supported rail service with 6 new routes over the next 10 years. And that will include nearly hourly service between Richmond and Washington, D.C. We'll also be able to expand VRE service on the Manassas line as a result of this, subject to an agreement with Norfolk Southern. So on our transit program, this year we received more requests for transit capital funding than we've ever received. We actually received $216 million in requests over 592 projects. So consistent with CTB policy, we prioritize first request for state of good repair funding. We will be funding and replacement assets that are within 95% of their useful life. So of the state of good repair allocation we have in our transit capital program, 97% of that is going to be going to replacement vehicles. Of the 451 projects that we evaluated, we are funding 374. We also fund a category of projects referred to minor enhancements, and these can be expansion vehicles or other system infrastructure or technology that allows a system to expand. Of the 135 requests that we evaluated, we're funding 62 of those. We also have a partnership with the Department of Environmental Quality for electric buses, and this is with funding from the Volkswagen Mitigation Trust Funds. This year, we're going to be allocating 7.8 million of those funds. Will bring us to a total of 16.7 million over the last 3 years. These will be going towards a total of 19 vehicles for 3 agencies, and that includes Valley Metro in Roanoke, Blacksburg Transit, and the Fairfax Connector. In addition to capital funding, we allocate operating funding to transit agencies. This has obviously been an unprecedented year for transit systems with ridership impacts and challenges due to COVID. We are allocating an additional 2% in operating funding this year over last year, which will provide an increase to all of our systems across the state. As far as the Culpeper District, we'll be providing 16.7 million in funding that includes federal, state, and local funding to a variety of projects. We'll be providing 2.1 million in state funding for operating assistance to Charlottesville area transit and also funding 11 buses. With the Rappahannock Rapidan Community Service, and this is one of our human service organizations in the Culpeper District, we'll be funding 6 replacement vehicles and 2 expansion vehicles. We also will have CAP operating grants to the Thomas Jefferson PDC rideshare and RRRC commuter services. A little bit about our rail planning highlights as well that will be impacting this district. We'll be doing about 1.2 million in future service development planning, and we'll also be studying preparing a new statewide rail plan, which will also include a study of what's called the Commonwealth Corridor, which is an east-west line from Hampton Roads through Doswell to Charlottesville as well. We'll be doing some station improvement planning with 3.9 million in funding, looking at some engineering and planning requirements for stations with state of good repair needs across the state, and also additional statewide plans at 1.6 million. We'll be concluding some other planning studies that we have been working on over the past year. including improvements at the Charlottesville station, preliminary engineering under our DC to RVA rail initiative, and also planning studies for a potential station at Bedford. So with that, Commissioner, that wraps up my DRPT report.
Thank you, Director Mitchell. Our next speaker this evening will be Allison DeTunk, who is serving on the Commonwealth Transportation Board as the Culpeper District representative. Allison? Allison, you're on mute. Sorry.
I heard that was the most used phrase this year, is you're on mute. But thank you, Commissioner, and good afternoon, and welcome all. It's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts and comments on the 6-year improvement plan. But first, what I'd like to do is just share some information regarding the applications from the district. I'd like to start out by extending our thanks and appreciation to our local and regional government partners for their work during the application process, which produced strong applications for much needed improvements. In round 4 of Smart Scale, 19 Culpeper District applications were recommended by staff for funding. The projects total $160 million. This is a significant increase for the district from previous rounds in both the number of projects recommended and the amount of funding available. The district benefited from the application of $87 million in supplemental district grant funds that were applied to districts that do not have regional transportation authorities. The recommended projects address a wide range of concerns, including safety, congestion, and multimodal transportation, and innovative intersection designs. 4 applications with the highest scores for safety improvements statewide are in the Culpeper District. All 4 are recommended for funding. There are also a number of applications this cycle for long-sought improvements, including the Route 29 Hydraulic Road intersection and nearby roads, which are also recommended for funding. Director Mitchell touched on the draft DRPT improvement program, which recommends operating and capital funding for public transportation providers, Jaunt and Charlottesville area transit. During this pandemic, these systems have provided essential trips and continue to provide access to healthcare, grocery stores, and jobs. Just as a reminder, all projects are still under review, so the staff recommended list is not final. Based on the comments heard tonight and at the other 8 public meetings around the state, changes may be made before the CTB's final review at its May meeting and its final approval in June. Before I pass the virtual microphone to Michelle, I would like to thank the Culpeper District for their leadership and dedication to the Commonwealth, and extend a special thanks of appreciation to John Lynch, who, as you may know, accepted an assignment in Northern Virginia. And I would also like to extend a warm welcome to Michelle Shropshire, Acting District Engineer. So with that, I'll turn it over to Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and welcome again to the Culpeper District. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Serving as the Acting District Engineer as John Lynch takes on that similar role in Northern Virginia is a great experience. And although I won't be here to see many of the projects and programs that we're talking about this afternoon through to completion, I do look forward to working on them, move forward through the process in my time here, and I look forward to working with many of you along the way. The Culpeper District serves 9 counties, including the city of Charlottesville, and we're responsible for 70 miles of interstate highways, 732 miles of primary roads, and over 4,100 miles of secondary roads throughout the district. During this past year, we have had a number of important and exciting projects that we have completed construction on. This includes the rehabilitation of 3 bridges on Interstate 64 in Albemarle County. We have completed the Route 15, Route 17, and Route 29 Warrenton Southern Interchange, which transforms the signalized interchange into a grade-separated facility that includes new roundabouts. We've also constructed a roundabout at Route 20 and Route 231 in Orange County. And the Waterloo Bridge project was completed ahead of schedule, which utilized revenue sharing and transportation alternative funding to restore the 142-year-old bridge over the Rappahannock. Currently around the district, we have a number of important transportation projects that are underway that will bring significant improvements to safety and mobility across the district. The Albemarle County Design Build Bundle is one of the first projects of its kind across the state, and that 6 separate improvement projects were bundled together into a single $28.5 million contract. And these 6 projects were bundled together to leverage efficiencies in design and construction, and also to achieve some cost savings. 2 of these projects have had their construction already completed, and these 2 include improvements to the interchange at exit 118 on Interstate 64, and an exit lane improvement to Route 29 at Fontaine Avenue. The 3rd project, the Rio Mills Constructor Road, is nearing completion presently. And we are also working on the diverging diamond interchange at exit 124 on Interstate 64. The 2 final projects in that suite of projects are roundabouts that will be constructed at the intersection of Route 250 and Route 151 near Afton, and the intersection of Route 20 and Route 649 just north of Charlottesville. Those projects are currently in the design phase and will be under construction later this year. All 6 of these projects will be complete by the spring of 2023. We have a number of other design projects that are working through the design phase that are smart scale funded projects. These include intersection improvements at the intersection of 250 and Route 20 in Albemarle County, a roundabout at the intersection of Route 3 and McDevitt Drive in Culpeper, intersection improvements at Route 33 and 29 in Greene County, and a roundabout at the intersection of Route 522 and 208 in Louisa County. The district also has a very robust locally administered program. The City of Charlottesville has a suite of projects that they are working to administer, as well as a number of other localities around the district that are administering projects. The team in Culpeper works closely with all of these participating localities to make sure these projects are being delivered on time and on budget. Our maintenance and paving program continue to keep the district's infrastructure in good shape. Last year in 2020, 10 secondary road bridges were rehabilitated, and Culpeper District is one of the few districts around the state that has a small bridge replacement program that uses VDOT bridge crews to fabricate and install new structures on secondary roads. This is a cost-effective program that often is able to touch these structures more efficiently than traditional contracting methods. Culpeper takes a similar approach to maintaining our 10,620 lane miles of roads throughout the district. Both our interstate and primary systems are currently meeting our agency performance targets for those. And in FY22, the district will be spending $14.8 million in our paving program, which will allow us to pave 334 lane miles. And finally, as the Commissioner mentioned, the new Interstate Operation and Enhancement Program, which will be presented to the Commonwealth Transportation Board in May. Culpeper has several projects that are eligible for inclusion in this program, and a few of these projects include acceleration lane improvements to Interstate 64 at exit 118, a truck climbing lane project on Afton Mountain on westbound I-64, some improvements on I-66 to acceleration and deceleration lanes at exit 23, an extension of the deceleration lane at exit 31 on Interstate 66, and the installation of some dynamic LED chevrons between mileposts 22 and 23 on Interstate 66. To share some highlights that are specific to the 6-year improvement plan for Culpeper District that we're discussing tonight include $300 million of projects that are funded through the Smart Scale program. And as you heard earlier, there's $160 million worth of those projects that are in round 4 of Smart Scale alone. Nearly $100 million is being allocated to the bridge and paving projects through the State of Good Repair, and this includes $2.7 million that will address deficient pavements for both VDOT and locally maintained pavements. And we also are receiving $12.6 million in that program to address 2 structurally deficient structures in Greene and Orange counties. The next steps regarding the 6-year improvement program include hosting meetings like we're having this evening around the state to gain input on the program. And in May, the CTB will approve the Smart Scale Round 4 consensus scenario, incorporating the input that we received from these meetings. In May, the CTB will also consider that interstate operations and enhancement program and those recommendations. And finally, in June, the CTB will approve and adopt the final 6-year improvement plan. Your feedback is important throughout this whole process. And so now I'll hand the presentation back over to Kim Pryor, who will explain the details on how you can provide that feedback. From the Culpeper District team, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Michelle, and all of the other speakers. Next slide, please. As a reminder, comments can be submitted in multiple ways. You can submit your comments online, by email, and by posted mail. The contact information is shown on this slide. It's also on the spring meeting website. The address for that is also shown on this slide. Next slide, please. Comments can also be accepted by telephone today. If you're interested in making a comment, dial the number shown on the slide followed by the PIN, and you'll be placed on hold and called on as your turn comes up in the queue. We ask that commenters limit their comments to 3 minutes, please. Next slide. Justin, I'm going to turn it over to you to call on the commenters in the queue.
Absolutely. All right. So like you said, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. And Deborah, if you'd like to address, now's the time to do so.
Great. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Deborah Kendall. I'm the town manager for the town of Gordonsville. I'm pleased to comment today on behalf of Mayor Coyner and our town council to request your support of funding for the Route 231 High Street Roundabout project. Gordonsville is not only a town at the crossroads of history where Thomas Jefferson and James Madison would meet at Gordon's Tavern. It is a true regional crossroads for tourism and freight transportation by both passenger vehicles and truck traffic. With the convergence of U.S. Routes 15 and 33 and Virginia Route 231, more than 5 million vehicles pass through our town each year. With Lee Industrial Park, MPS, and Ruron or Klockner Transportation located just north of the town on Route 15, and Interstate 64 and the Walmart Distribution Center at Zion Crossroads located 11 miles to the south on Route 15, Gordonsville is an important crossroads in the larger regional freight transportation network. Approximately 15% of the truck traffic passing through town each day is truck traffic. In January 2002, at the request of Town Council, VDOT placed a through truck and tractor truck semi-trailer restriction on Main Street and designated High Street as a truck route. To navigate this route, trucks must make right or left turns at each terminus of the street, both with insufficient turning radii. At High Street and Route 231 on the northern end, commercial development, a local church, and an elementary school create additional traffic and turning movements that heighten the danger of the intersection for both motorists and pedestrians. In 2013, the High Street intersections were studied by VDOT, and it was determined that constructing a roundabout at the northern terminus was the best short and long-term transportation improvement for this intersection. This solution is fully supported by the town. We appreciate that the Route 231 High Street Roundabout is recommended for funding through the Smart Scale process. This project will greatly improve the safety of the intersection by seamlessly managing through traffic with that of the elementary school, the church, and the commercial enterprises located in this area. Additionally, it will add efficiency to a larger regional freight transportation network that links Route 29 and Interstate 64, both of which are corridors of statewide significance. Gordonsville is identified as a growth area for Orange County and is a pivotal point within the regional tourism network of the North Central Piedmont of Virginia. More and more tourists are traveling to and through our town as they explore all this region has to offer. A roundabout at Route 231 High Street will mitigate congestion at this key intersection, effectively promoting economic development and improving accessibility and the safety of motorists who travel within our region. I appreciate the opportunity to provide comment today to express support for the roundabout at Route 231 High Street, and I thank you for your favorable consideration.
All right, next in the public queue, we have John Egerton. If you'd like to address the meeting, please do so at this time.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. I'm John Egerton, the Culpeper County Administrator. I'll keep this very brief. The Culpeper County Board of Supervisors would like to express its strong support for the VDOT Revenue Sharing Program. Although Culpeper was awarded funds in the most recent application cycle, those funds are now delayed until 2025 and 2026. And so we just want to express our desire that if there's any opportunity for the CTB now or in the near future to restore those funds such that projects can move forward sooner, we would like to urge you to do so. With CARES funds this past year and American Recovery Act funds soon to come, all of which positively are impacting county budgets, there are many counties that may be in a position to advance projects using the revenue sharing program. Culpeper County has long been reliant on revenue sharing, and we believe it's highly beneficial financially from both the standpoint of the locality and the state. So just, again, our strong support for revenue sharing, if that can be restored to its prior time frame, it would be very advantageous. And I do just want to thank you for this opportunity to express that. I'd like to also say thank you to Mark Nesbitt, our Warrenton Residency Administrator, and all the excellent staff here in the Culpeper District. And also thank you to our CTB representative, Ms. DeTunk, and at-large member Greg Yates, who's a Culpeper resident and has also been helpful to us. So thank you very much.
All right, next in the queue, we have Jeff Farrell. If you'd like to address the meeting, please do so at this time.
Hi, good evening. I'm Jeff Farrell, the Assistant County Administrator for Louisa County. Thank you for the opportunity to bring our boards and our community's concerns to your attention. We have two smart scale projects that are being considered. As you may know, Louisa County is growing very fast with residential, commercial, and industrial growth along our 64 corridor. The first project is a roundabout project at the intersection of 15 and 250, and the fastest growing section of Louisa County with both residential and commercial and industrial growth. It is also along our boundary with Savannah County, is also supportive of the project. That intersection is interesting because we have a mix of traffic types, which can be dangerous, and it slows down the intersection. Walmart Distribution Center is there, along with a lot of neighborhoods and residential communities. We have another project along 250 at the intersection of 208 in the center of southern border. It's an intersection that's directly adjacent to a fast-growing industrial park, which was constructed about 7 years ago. And we have a number of businesses there that do shipping, warehousing, and we have 3 more businesses that will be coming online in the coming months. It's a safety and a transportation and economic development concern, and the county board requests your support for that project. My final remarks are more general for rural communities, and I know that there's a lot of attention paid through the VDOT for orders of statewide significance and projects where traffic and safety are a big concern. My only comment is that I hope that there's equal attention paid to rural communities where projects are often more difficult to fund, and even that the population density is not quite there. We do have some of our communities have tourism influx of people, and we have a lot of traffic and a lot of people and a lot of traffic going through our communities. So I just would request on behalf of Louisa County that some of the programs and funding be directed towards rural communities. I appreciate your time and thank you very much.
All right, next in the public queue, Kevin McDermott, if you'd like to make comment to the meeting, please do so at this time.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Kevin McDermott. I'm the Transportation Planning Manager for Albemarle County. And I really wanted to just come on and first of all, express gratitude to the district and the Charlottesville residency folks that we've been working on a lot of projects, including the Albemarle Build Bundle that was mentioned earlier. Those have been really successful, as well as other projects that have been going on in Albemarle County that we've been working on them with. Regarding the 6-year improvement plan, Albemarle County is really excited about the projects that were approved. We're a fast-growing community, and it's been very difficult to keep up with the transportation needs. And the projects that were recommended for approval in Smart Scale this year are going to go a long way to helping us keep up with those issues and addressing multimodal transportation concerns throughout the county, including projects that are solely bike and ped related projects and a new park and ride, as well as intersection improvements throughout the county and some major projects that are going to enhance the economic development in our community. I just earlier, as I was looking through the materials, also learned about the truck climbing lane proposed for I-64 in Albemarle County. And I am really excited about that one. That has been a major safety concern for years, something that we had no idea how to begin to tackle. And I am really excited to work with VDOT on implementing that project and the rail improvements that were recommended that are going to greatly enhance rail transportation to Albemarle County residents are a really exciting project. So I wanted to express my gratitude to Director Mitchell, Commissioner Britch, and Representatives DeTunk and Yates for all their work on this, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
All right, and I know that Holden Trumbo was going to queue, but I was unable to make contact. Holden, are you with us? It's *6 to unmute if you're on the line. I don't think we have Holden with us, and so I believe that will conclude the public call queue.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Britch for final comments.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. I do want to, again, apologize. Secretary Valentine sends her regrets this evening. Again, she is caught in traffic heading to a very important infrastructure summit with Governor Northam. So she does apologize for not making tonight's event. I want to first and foremost thank our speakers this evening, Deborah, John, Jeff, and Kevin. We appreciate your comments. We will take them back and evaluate them, everything from the roundabout to the revenue sharing, and as well as the roundabout in Louisa, and Kevin, your comments as well for Albemarle. We are excited as well for the I-64 truck climbing lane. If we can make that happen, that is part of the Interstate Operations and Enhancement Program, which we're very fortunate to receive this evening. I'd like to, again, thank everyone for participating tonight. As Kim has indicated, we do have an open comment period, as well as I encourage everyone to review the materials that are on our website. And with that, I will look to close out the meeting. But first, I want to thank Ms. DeTunk and Mr. Yates for being here, and Michelle and Jennifer Mitchell for speaking this evening on their respective parts. With that being said, without any other callers, we'll go ahead and close this evening's meeting. Have a great night.
Great job, everybody. Great job. Thank you.